Hello everyone, welcome to all. And up to this session, we have discussed about some kinds of displacement sensors. This is nothing but the potentiometers, strain gauge, piezoelectric sensors, or Hall effect sensor, optical encoder, resolver, inductation. Okay, so and then later we have discussed about the some kinds of velocity sensors. These are the kinds of velocity sensor, whether the moving magnet type velocity transducer or the moving coil type velocity transducers or AC tacho generators or DC tacho generators. So up to now we have discussed about some kinds of velocity displacement sensor and as well as the some kinds of velocity sensor. So in this session we are let me in this session let me revise what we have discussed up to now. Okay, in case of potentiometer, the potentiometer is the main working principle on the mechanical displacement into electric signal. Okay, the actual potentiometer is appeared above in the picture, above in the figure. Okay, here here three kinds of elements here. The first one is the main part is the wiper, and then second one is the resistive element, which is on these two elements are getting attached. Okay, and these are keeping a contact with throughout the process. Okay, and then next housing. So entire elements entire system is surrounded by some kinds of housing is nothing but it's some kind of insulation. Okay, whether it made up of aluminum, whether it made up of asbestos, whether it made up of glass, wool, whatever it may be. So in order to prevent the external parameters, in order to influence the external parameter into the internal elements, upon the internal elements, we just providing some kinds of insulations. Okay, we don't want to getting some kind of influence coming from external. Okay, that's why reason. And the sensor is a completely resistive element, resistive basis sensor. It's nothing but the resistive element has a complete is a complete having some kinds of a range of resistance. So over the range of resistance, some over the part of some part, so it has a variable its resistance. Okay, it has a variable its resistance throughout. So what are the amount of variable its resistance is directly proportional to the what are the amount of getting deflected by the wiper. Okay, and the next, so and we have here three elements here, three electrical terminals here, and those two terminals, so suppose the left hand, the complete right one is the which is connected to in a circuit, and some kinds of voltage, some kinds of kind of power supply has been given to the these two terminals, these two external terminals. Okay, so whenever the internal terminal is connected to the wiper, as well as the internal terminal is another end is connected to the what are the displacement we need to measure. Okay, so it's nothing but the sensor is nothing but the, so it is a electron is a device, some kind of electronic device which are uh, capable to measure the what are the physical quantity that can be being to be measured. Okay, so we need to measure some kind of physical quantity. So in that situation we just adopting some kind of electronic device which is used for the measuring the or sensing the what are the changes in physical quantities. Okay, so we can call it as a sensor. So if in case of sensor we have only some kind of transparency of data. If in case of transducer, uh, the element itself, it has some kind of circuit is there. So which is able to, which is has a ability to transform the one kind of energy into another kind of energy. Suppose the input is display mechanical displacement, the output is the electrical displacement as given by the transducer. Okay, the sensor has a resistive element and the sliding contact like this one. Okay, the slider moves along with the conductor body. Okay, the slider is moves along with the conductor body. So the movement of this slider, the movement of the wiper is directly proportional, or the end of the wiper which is attached to the what are the displacement that we would like to measure. What are the displacement we would like to measure? Okay, so based on the change displacement, the wiper is getting deflection from its original position. So based on its deflection up to and up to which amount the wiper getting deflected, that much of amount of resistance has been applied by, has been offered by some kind of resistance. Okay, this that kind of resistance. Okay, so we just measure the amount of resistance what we have. Okay, so here the complete output is resistance or amount of resistance. Okay, the what is the amount of resistance is depending upon the amount of deflection of the beam, amount of deflection of the wiper. So amount of deflection of wiper is depending upon the amount of the displacement happened. Okay, like this one. In a consequence way, we are going to find out the what are the voltage output. Okay, so these are typically used on a machine tool controls, elevators, and liquid level assemblies of forklift trucks, automobile throttle controllers. So these are the practical applications of the potentiometer in order to measure the physical quantity as the displacement. Okay, so we have some formulas here. So actually the V out voltage of out is nothing but here tapping point, which is attached to the tapping point. So here the V out is equals to R2 by R2 plus R1. Why? Because into V in. So why? Because it is a total resistance. So R2, the value of R2 by R2 plus R1, which is a completely total resistance of the circuit, total resistance of the entire element. Why? Because these are the, so here the one resistance is wiper, and the second resistance is, this is the resistive element. Okay, so these two are connected in the parallel connection. Okay, that's why in case of parallel connection, the total resistance is equals to R2 by R2 plus R1. So okay, into Vin. So R2 is nothing but the theta 2. Theta is nothing but the R2 is nothing but the theta is the amount of getting deflection from his, actually this is the original position. After getting some kind of displacement, the wiper is getting deflected like this one. This is the theta. Okay, so this is the theta. Suppose the initial position is here. Okay, and the final position will be here. So this is the theta 1. This is the theta 1. This is the theta 1, and this is the remaining part of remaining angular displacement is the theta 2. Okay, so V out equals to theta 2 by theta 1 plus theta 2 into Vn. Okay, so let's go for the next one. Strain gauge. In this one also, here the strain gauges are widely used in experimental stress analysis. Okay, and diagnosis also machine and failure analysis. These are only for the analysis purpose, not on the displacement purpose. It is mainly applied on the very small, where the very in order to measure the very small errors, very small the displacements. Okay, it's nothing but 0.001, 0. In a micron level, 0.001. Okay, in a micron level, in order to measure the displacement of angular, whether it may be linear displacement or the angular displacement, the value need to be measured is micron level or some kinds of millimeters. Okay, so in that situation, the strain gauge has been applied. So it has a comprises a pattern of resistive foil arranged as shown in figure. Okay, this is the resistance foil. Metal foil is nothing but the resistance foil, and these foils are made up of constant in alloy, copper nickel as the 55 to 45% of alloy. As you know, 55% of copper and 45% of nickel, and they are bonded. They are what you call, they are mixed with a backing material. Backing material is nothing but it's a insulation. It's a plastic epoxy or glass fiber reinforced epoxy, whatever it may be. So here, what are the input is, what are the input of the displacement is given to the connection leads. So whenever the connection leads receiving some kinds of deflection, some kinds of displacement, so which will elongate like this one. Okay, which will elongate in like this one. So through this deflection, the amount of resistance has been varied. Okay, through this deflection only. So in the circuit, the just attaching here this strain gauge in the place of some resistance in a Wheatstone bridge circuit. In a Wheatstone bridge is nothing but the, so wherever in the circuit Wheatstone bridge has been applied or used. So in the situation, in order to balance the resistance, in order to balance the power supply has given to the entire resistance, entire circuit. Okay, suppose R1, R2, R3 are the fixed resistance, having a fixed resistance. Okay, so here the main variable parameter is the resistance of strain gauge only. So while these four resistance are connected in a Wheatstone bridge as a circuit, so the Wheatstone bridge itself is rearranges, is a rebalancing so entire circuit, okay, entire resistance. Okay, in order to balance the resistance only, we just adopting a Wheatstone bridges. Okay, these are the Wheatstone bridges. So here the V means is nothing but is you just calculating in these two terminals. We just apply some voltmeter here. So here we just obtain some kind of voltage in between these two. So based on these voltage, this voltage has been converted into digital format. Okay, in a decibel. Okay, digital format. And then what are the amount of displacement? What the strain gauge has observed is calculated by through this voltage. Okay, whenever the ideal condition is V means is equals to 0, if R1 by R3 is equals to R2 by RG, is nothing but in order to balance the entire Wheatstone bridges, we have a formula for the R1 by R3, R2 by R4, RG. Nothing but the left side of the two resistance is equals to the right side of the two resistance. Why? Because these two resistance are connected in a series connection, and these two resistance are connected in a series connection, and these two categories are connected in a parallel connection. Why? Because the current is distributed equally. Okay, here that's the reason. In order to balance the entire resistance into equilibrium, so you just this is the formula for the R1 by R3 is equals to R2 by RG. So in this situation, we just calculate we will go for the calculation of RG value, and then later which is converted into the microprocessor, and then later which is displayed in a display output to display unit, which is what is the amount of deflecting the strain gauge observed. Okay, what are the amount of displacement the strain gauge observed. So in this situation, piezoelectric sensor is nothing but that there is no need to providing any electrical charges. Okay, suppose we have some kind of material which is made up of coils. Whenever we applied a load, compressed force, and application external force approach. Okay, whenever suppose one external force is imposed or acted upon the particular on the another end of the either one end or the two ends of the coils material, internally the material it has a possessive nature of producing some kinds of voltage, some kinds of energy sources. Okay, really the entire material these kinds of materials also provided, this kind available in the practical market. Okay, the coils material having a possessive nature of whenever we getting some external deflection, the material itself internally it has produced some kinds of energy, some kinds of a charge. Okay, so the charges and this charge is observed and by the voltmeter here, voltage generator. Okay, voltage generator. So what are the due to the output value of the voltage generator, we just go and decide what are the amount of load is acted upon the particular on the coils material. Okay, here only the piezoelectric sensor is used for the measurement of pressure, acceleration, and dynamic forces such as oscillation, impact, or high speed compression or tension. Okay, it contains a piezoelectronic icon, crystal materials such as quartz. Okay, on application of force or pressure, these materials get stretched or compressed. During a process, the charge over the material changes and this redistributes. Okay, So like this one, this is the Q is nothing but the amount of the Q is nothing but the amount of the charge. Okay, and X is directly proportional to the X is nothing but the amount of getting deflection. Okay, so and this X is F is nothing but the amount of force applied. Okay, so by through this equation we can observe that the entire charge is directly proportional to the what are the amount of the entire charges directly proportional to the amount of getting deflection. Okay, what the material possesses, and this deflection is directly proportional to depending upon the amount of force acted upon the body. Okay, so these K and S are the two constants. Suppose S is the charge sensitivity factor and K is the deflection factor. These two factors are provided by the manufacturing companies. Okay, and the next Hall effect sensor. Hall effect sensor is nothing but the whenever we can suppose we just adapting one type of semiconductor plate here. Okay, semiconductor plate here. So when we apply some kind of energy DC voltage to the circuit, so which is connected here. DC voltage circuit here. DC voltage voltage has been applied to the circuit, and then whenever we just bring a magnetic permanent magnet near to the plate, so through the electromagnetic flux, through the magnetic flux which is cuts the direction of the current. Okay, this is the direction of the current, and this magnetic flux cuts the direction of the flux, the direction of the current. So in the way of passing the current, so whenever the flux getting cuts the direction, whenever the flux cuts the direction, the electrons or the charge particles are getting deviated. Okay, so the magnet is displaced like this one. Okay, here like this one. So this is the linear direction of the magnet. Whenever we bring this magnet to the near of this kind of semiconductor plate, so in the direction of current carrying direction, the charge particles are getting deviated like this one. Suppose negative charges are getting left side direction, and positive charge particles are deviated to the right side. Okay, so what are the amount of so in this situation, some kind of voltage, some kind of EMF has been developed or induced within the circuit here. You can obtain by Hall voltage sensor, Hall voltage voltmeter here. Okay. So the entire process, the object is the displacement has given to this magnet. Okay, the amount of the displacement is given here, directly proportional to the amount of voltage induced within here. Okay, so these are the directly proportional. Okay, so in order to calculate the Hall effect, Hall voltage, we just measure the sensor. What we just measure the displacement of a sensor. Okay, this is the working principle of Hall effect sensor. Okay, so this is the formula. Suppose V equals to KH into BI by T. So VH is the nothing but the Hall voltage, and RH is the Hall effect or coefficient. I is the current flow through the sensor, and T is the thickness of the sensor. So here is the thickness of the sensor, and B is the magnetic flux density, which are units are Weber per meter square. Okay, Weber per meter square is nothing but the magnetic flux density. So is the value of B. It's the value of the magnet. Okay, here. Optical encoders. So in this situation, that we have only, so just as shown in the figure, so we have some kind of plate here, and on the left side we have LEDs, light emitting devices. Okay, on the right side we have sensors. So the material, the plate has some holes here like this one, 1 2 3. These are the kinds of holes. Okay, So which are displaced in a random position only in a front view. While we seeing in the front view, the holes are positioned in a random manner, not in a regular sequence manner. Okay. So whenever the plate is rotating in this direction, whenever the plate is rotating, so what are the obviously the LEDs are continuously emitting some kinds of light energy into over the plate. So whenever the hole is arriving, the hole, the plate, the hole, through the hole, the light is passed through the hole and then uh, and goes to the sensor. Okay. Whenever the hole is not covered, the way of the lights is the light is getting deviated. The sensors are in this situation. The sensors are is just recording the frequency of the LEDs, frequency of the light, which is observed from the plate. Okay, from the through the plate, through the whole of the plate. So in this situation, suppose while we rotating in the plate is like this one. Suppose the sensors are at the particular situation, the sensor are not getting any light from the hole. Okay. So here we have a condition, we have a code like this one, 111. Okay. If in case of we just the first sensor getting light and the remaining two sensors not getting light. Okay. So in the situation, the code is 110. Okay. Here the second sensor getting light. Okay, intensity of light, and those two external sensors are not getting. So in the situation, the code will be the 101 like this one. Okay. Suppose only internal sensor only getting the intensity of light. Suppose in the situation, the code will be the 100. So like this one. Okay. 00 is nothing but these two sensors not getting any light from the plate. Why? Because the plate is moving with a certain velocity. It does not possess a total intensity of load through the body. Okay, passes. Okay, only whenever the hole has covered the path of the light. In the situation only, the sensor getting some kind of light only. Okay. In practice, three concentric tracks will be with three sensors are used. The inner track has just one hole and use it to locate the home position of the disc. Okay. So this is like this one. Okay. The resolution equals to 360 degrees by 2 power n, where n equals to number of tracks and n is the bit encoder. Okay. Like this one. This is the optical encoders. These are so in this situation, we can measure the angular displacement as well as the linear displacement also. So how do we measure the linear displacement? By providing here just a worm wheel. Okay. So here by providing a worm wheel, whenever we just giving a linear displacement, which is converted into the angular displacement, and that angular displacement has been converted into digital format. Okay. Next, resolvers. So in the situation, so those two here we have here two kind of windings, primary winding and the secondary winding. So one is the sine winding and the another one is called it as a cos winding. So whenever we just apply some kind of electromagnetic principle, so it's nothing but suppose this is our rotary transformer we have. Whenever and we just applying two resistance here, R1 and R2, and so whenever we apply some kind of voltage sources through the R1 R2, and then some kind of EMF is induced as usual based on the principle of electromagnetic principle, which is connected in a transformer, which is working on the principle of transformer. Okay. Electromagnetic principle, some kind of EMF is induced within the body, within the current carrying conductor, and whenever it is getting deviated by phi. So we just giving the displacement to the here. Okay, we just the displacement is given to here, the rotary conductor. Okay, so whenever you're getting displacement, the phi will be angular deflection. Okay, so whenever it has so entire body, entire edges facing some this winding, it is some kind of voltage here. So okay, some kind of voltage here. We just have to observing some, accepting some kind of voltage here. So whenever the this face is faced to the this phase, this secondary winding, in the situation we just apply, we just observe some kind of voltage here. So we need to calculate the range of the difference between these two voltages is nothing but the Vs by Vc is equals to Vr into sin phi or Vr into cos phi. Phi is the nothing but the deflection. Okay, so by providing here displacement here, whether it may be angular displacement or linear displacement, we just the finally we getting some kind of voltage here, output. Okay, we just need to by using this one we need to simplification those two getting voltages, and then whatever we need to calculate, and we go for the calculation for the phi value. And in the sense of inductocin, inductocin is the what are the in the picture, what are the color displayed in the yellow color, which is a fixed scale. Okay, what are the color displayed as a green color, which is called a moving plate. Okay, suppose these two having a separate resistance. Okay, separate individually into the plate, and these two, whether it is a fixed plate or whether it may be moving plate, has the individual resistance. Okay, suppose whenever we these are the place, this is the position of the sensor here. Whenever you're providing some kind of displacement here to the green plate, so it's getting some deflection. Through this deflection, the resistance of the permanent magnet is getting deviated through the resistance, through this displacement. Okay, so what are the amount of getting deviated is directly proportional to the amount of getting displayed by the particular body. Okay, now construction consists of fixed scale and the slider. Fixed scale is provided the input of the voltage, and by the principle of electromagnetic induction, the voltage appears across the slider coils. Okay, the magnitude of voltage across slider coil is determined the position of the slider against the fixed scale. So V out equals to V. This is the formula for what we just said is, so whenever the displacement given to the green plate, it has some kind of resistance way out. Voltage is variable. Okay, so like this one, from the particular position A, the voltage is higher, and at the B, the voltage is neutral, and for the C is negative, and D is the neutral, and the E is again positive. Like this one, sinusoidal wave. Is maintaining some sinusoidal wave. So V out equals to V in into cos into 2x by phi into phi. So let's go for the velocity sensor. In this situation, or we can just we have only two types: moving magnetic velocity transducer and moving coil type velocity transducer. So in moving magnetic velocity transducer, suppose we have a coil here, primary two coils here. So in between these two coils, we have only one permanent magnet here. So which is north and which having a poles of north and south. Okay, the velocity is given to here, given to the permanent magnet in this direction only. Okay, in a vertical direction only. So here the moving magnet, here the you just giving the displacement to the direct magnet. Okay, so as the electrical point of view, whenever the current carrying conductor gets some kind of magnetic flux, obviously there will be a chance of getting EMF induced within the current carrying conductor. Okay, in the same way, the permanent magnet is moving with some kind of velocity. The coil is fixed. Suppose obviously the magnet has a magnetic flux like this one. Okay, in a magnetic flux like this one, north to south as usual. So, and these flux are has been cut by this coil. Obviously, the coil has a EMF induced within the body. Okay, and this EMF is collected as a output. Okay, and this output is connected to the microprocessor as well as the which is followed by the digital or display output unit. Okay, so the amount of velocity, amount of displacement to the given to the permanent magnet is converted into the electrical world supply, and this electrical supply is converted into the digital format. Okay, this kind of moving magnet type, this is velocity transducer. It look like this one. So if in case of next one, moving coil type, here the moving coil type is nothing but the coil is moving with a certain velocity, a certain speed. So, and this coil is displayed positioned in between these two poles. Okay, these two poles. Okay, the coil is moving in rotation in oscillating way. So here this is the rotation. So whenever the is in this situation, same principle. Whenever the current carrying conductor cuts the magnetic flux, obviously there will be a EMF induced within the current carrying conductor. Obviously the flux is like this one. The flux is like this one. So whenever the body cuts the flux, obviously it has some kind of EMF is induced within the body. So this EMF is collected as here, output here. Okay, output here. So what are the which is converted into the electrical signal and digital format. So we know the what are the displacement is given to here. What are the displacement? The mass is this is for the mass for the balancing purpose. This is the pivot assembly. Okay, so the coil is moving with a certain velocity in a oscillating way like this one. Okay, so this is the example for the moving coil type. And the Tago generators is nothing but the somewhere effect, Doppler effect. While considering for the transducers, source and object. Suppose we have suppose in this situation, the source are having a capable of emitting continuously some electromagnetic waves or ultrasonic waves. Okay, ultrasonic waves. Suppose over the is continuously delivering some kind of ultrasonic waves over the object, and the object is after reaching the object and strikes the object and getting reflected to the reflected to the source as usually. Okay, so here the frequency between the what is the delivering frequency and the feedback signal. Feedback is the return frequency. Feedback signal is nothing but the return frequency. Whenever the return frequency is greater than the delivering frequency, which indicates that the object is near to the source. Okay, object is moving near to the source. Whenever the return frequency is lesser than the supplying frequency, which indicates that the object is moving away from the source. Okay, so this is the Doppler effect. So what is the error between what is the difference between the supplying frequency or the and the return frequency? Okay, so n equals, so here the value is n equals to pulse per second, number of teeth. These are the value for them, and these are IIC Tago generators. In this IIC Tago generators, the toothed rotor is like this one. The magnetic pickup is like this one, and this one, the some kind of step down transformer here, and then kind of followed by the electronic counter here. So in this situation, the movement of the rotor has in the direction it look like so through this direction. So why? Because the current carrying conductor. This is the current carrying conductor. The tooth rotor having a conductor type. So in this situation, the magnetic pickup, while rotating the conductor, obviously there will be some kind of EMF is induced. So this EMF is getting step up or step down by using the step down transformer. Okay, like this one. And in case of AC Tago generators also, some kind of Wheatstone bridges we just adapting some kind of Wheatstone bridges, and these two Wheatstone bridges we just wearing some kind of resistance here. Through the resistance, we obtain this some kind of voltmeter here. Okay. So what are the amount the displacement has given to here? Okay. And then next, through the displacement, the resistance has been changed. Okay. And while the changing resistance which brings to some kind of voltage here, the change in voltage here. So the final voltage is displayed or consider it as a final output for the purpose of calculating the what are the displacement given to the input. Okay. So this is the one more thing, commutator speed being measured here. This is the we need to calculate the velocity here. Okay. No, north to south. So where the flux is in this direction, north to south, acted in this direction. This is the commutator, nothing but this for collecting in the EMF and the brushes, which is converting AC to DC, and then DC to AC. And the resistance, we have a resistance, and the next one moving oil coil voltmeter. It's nothing but these are the principle only for the already we have given the displacement to the initial input, and then later through the velocity of the current carrying conductor, obviously there will be some kind of EMF. Only entire velocity sensors are working on the principle of electromagnetic force. The principle of inducing electromagnetic force or electromagnetic principle. Okay, that's it. Thank you.